Thank you.
Please welcome to the stage Thomas Engdahl, Executive Vice President at Vidillion, for a presentation entitled Optimizing CTV Revenue Through Publisher Insights.
Afternoon, our shrinking audience. It's a pleasure to be here. I want to do one thing first before we get started. My company, Vidillion, in April was sold to Sabio Holdings, Inc., a public company out of Canada. And I don't think anyone or people really understand what Sabio is. We're a very dynamic company with 3 elements to it. So we've got a very brief video to introduce our company to this audience. So if we can see if that'll go. What did I do wrong?
Twice. There we go. You have amazing content you want to share with the world and make money doing it, right? Sabio makes it easy. Okay, easier. Our publisher solution helps you drive revenue and get more eyes on your content. We optimize existing connected TV apps, giving your audience a quality experience and providing brands a way to advertise to your audience. In fact, that's how we monetize your app. Sabio connects you with the top Fortune 500 brands in the US and the top agencies that work with them, matching your content with advertisers relevant to your viewers. And of course, analytics are critical. Our publisher platform offers advanced insights to help you better understand your audience, attract more advertisers, and drive the business outcomes you care about. Don't have an app yet? We can help with that too. Welcome to the future of connected TV with Sabio.
So Sabio is actually made up of 3 different parts. Let me go back one here. 3 different parts. It's Vidillion, my company, that I head up the business unit for Sabio. We have App Science, which is all about data and analytics. And then we also have Sabio Holdings, which is our advertising arm and the core business that the company has. I just wanted to do a very brief introduction to the company before we get started down some of the more interesting stuff, I hope. So basically, Vidillion, which was been acquired in April, we do monetization, optimization, and application development and work around that area. Right now, we have 52 publishers. We have 558 channels, as I looked yesterday, 1,796 unique applications that we're running. And then we have on 14 different platforms, 29 languages that we are currently supporting, and viewers of about 4 million a month, and we reach 216 countries. This is really important, and I wanted to make note of this because I've heard a lot this morning about how the larger companies that are doing content and actually publishing applications are looking towards international markets and what is international and how we get apps and content out there. We're already doing that right now in 216 countries. And then the Sabio portion of our business is bringing us advertising for all the brands and more that are on here. And then, like I said, we're on a whole number of platforms. One of the things that I wanted to talk about today, though, was analytics in applications. Because remember back in the day when cable TV was coming along and then you could go onto YouTube and you could watch content. Who were the people that started watching that content on YouTube? They were the younger generation, the new people coming along. And all of a sudden, television and cable TV wasn't nearly important. We're seeing that now happen in the OTT space as well. You've got the big brands, you've got the large companies coming along with applications and all kinds of different content that's we've seen before. You can find on cable TV, etc. And some new stuff as well being created by different publishers. But there's a vast array of applications on all of the platforms that are actually unique and different, and they actually bring audiences that are quite different than the audience there. My daughter, for instance, she watches almost exclusively applications. She's 17. Applications that are not the mainstream one, and it's very fascinating. It's exactly the same paradigm that we saw when cable TV met YouTube, many, many years ago. So one of the things I want to talk about today is how do you make the smaller applications what we call fast channels these days? How do we make fast channels really successful? And that's something we've been working on quite a bit at Vidillion. So one of the things that we have to take a look at is what are the components of actually getting a viewer to stay on your channel if you're not a very large set of channels with lots and lots of advertising budget. So what we've created right now is a publisher portal. And this allows our publishers to go in and take a look at the data from their applications and look at that data and find out what's going on. And we've learned some very interesting and very unique lessons in this process. Right now we've been working with a number of our channels and just the data. The publisher portal is being released here pretty quickly, but we're using the same data and going to them and actually working out the different elements that make a channel successful. Number one, of the Roku apps that we have, all of the apps that get downloaded are only watched once, and then, or 2/3 of them are only watched once, and we only have a repeat viewership on our apps on a monthly basis of 1/3 of all the new channels that come along. That's really dismal. I mean, people put a lot of heart and soul and money building their app, and then all of a sudden nobody watches it anymore, right? They look at it one time. Why? Because they don't understand it. It's not described well enough. It's overwhelming, which is a really big issue on these applications that are out there. So we've got our publisher dashboard now that takes a look at what platforms your content is on, what titles your content, what viewers, what geographic areas the viewer comes from, and then there's a number of other things like the requests and the actions and clicks if you've got interactive capability on the ad. The second part of it is the numbers of content, and this has become very important. We have people that put lots of content onto their apps. Someone will come and watch one, and the majority of the content that's watched is just one or two of the titles out of a lot. And I've got a case study on that in just a minute I'm going to show you. And then the third part is a DMA. Where are people watching it? And this just shows the United States, but like I said, I have 216 viewers. By the way, my favorite viewer that I have in the whole world is a Genentech user in Antarctica. I don't have any idea how he's gotten to Antarctica or how he's getting connected, but we have one that's traditionally there quite a bit. It's off of our Jadu app, which is a South Asian app. So we have taking a look at the numbers and the DMA numbers, and it's actually quite surprising that some of these apps that are not the mainstream apps, the DMA is very important. There are certain segments. I add that into our ability with Sabio to get advertising and base it on the DMAs, and we've got a winning combination. So one of the things I wanted to talk about real quick is a bit of a case study that we did with a very small app that just got started a couple months ago called the Black Movie Network. Black Movie Network has a lot of content. They had 417 titles, 418 titles on their app to start with. And the subcategories or the genres that they had were 13. They had, in May of this year, they had 35,000 users, and the repeat viewers were only 32%. And in June, the numbers were very similar. We worked with them, and we got all the data from their channel. And I was being called literally on every other day basis and said, where are my viewers? How come we have the small number of advertisements that go on here? And I'm not ever going to make money on this app unless we figure out how to do something. We took a look at it. We looked at their titles. And we said, well, 70 of your 418, 419 channels, only 75 pieces of your content are being watched regularly. And by the way, here's the genres that those pieces of content are in, and let's reduce the number of total content pieces that you have on your app as well. Let's reduce the number of genres that you have so people can navigate through your app and make it better. But more importantly, we also recommended that they rotate the content that they had and put new content on there while they're taking old content off of the app as well. And then use social media, use all different forms of advertising, mostly influencer and social media, to actually let people know what's going on with your app. And it requires a constant view of reminding people what's on there, almost a newsletter type of situation in the social media world. What we found then is almost immediately, as you can see over here, their viewership went up. It went up quite a bit, actually, and we increased the repeat viewership, and this was the most important part, up to 71% from the 32% they had in May. And that repeat viewership means money, right? Because every time we have a full 2-hour movie that's on there, there are so many avails in that content, and that means advertising opportunities for us to put ads on there. And it increased their revenue to us quite a bit. And so we ended up taking their content, and the viewership overall increased by 154%. Repeat viewers came back, increased by 122%, and that's really important because a repeat viewer is the one that you want to come back month after month after month. And then when we took a look at simplifying their interface, which really meant reducing the total number of pieces of content so people could find what they want, and making a far better description of the content that's in there. And I was on the phone with these guys every few days and talking to them, and they said, well, if we got it now, I said, well, you know, if I read that description, it doesn't tell me what I want to know about it. What's going to happen in the movie? Why is it interesting to me? And they started working on that. They actually got an outside company to help them on that. So what we ended up doing is we ended up increasing their monetization on a per month basis of raw ads that we're able to put on there, around $32,000 per month for them that we had to send out to them. And they were very, very happy. Now this is a brand new app. It's very small. It's not like the big ones that are out there, but we allowed them to become successful and make money at their application and what they're doing. And this is really exciting. So going back to our publisher portals, the data portals and the information that's on there, that allows us to actually help increase the app and make these applications for the fast channels much, much better. So I don't really mean to turn this whole thing into an advertisement, but one of the things that's very important is understanding the content, the audience, the demographics, and all the elements that you have if you're going to put a fast channel together. And I think I'm probably about done with my 15 minutes. Thank you very much for coming and watching.
Please welcome Jim McCarthy, co-founder and CEO at Stellar Live and OTT.X president and